What up, everybody? I'm your boy Jadiro, and I think there's hope for Diablo 4, so let's get into it. If I look at the time I put in with my rogue and my druid alone, I put in hundreds of hours. So I know I got my money's worth there. However, I'd be lying to myself if I said this was an acceptable AAA game. And I know that's the main bitter taste that's in everyone's mouth with this game right now, is that you were expecting something that you didn't get. Not only that, you paid full price for a game that's half done. As a content creator though, and as a human being, I try to be on the positive side of things. So I'm going to start talking about things that I would add to this game to make it a way better play experience. First things first, I think we need more uniques and legendaries in the game. I think adding more unique aspects or also general aspects to the game will help with the build creation. Part of what makes this game such a fun game to play is being able to freestyle and make your own builds and not have to stick to the norms of the meta. However, meta is important if you're trying to push and be competitive, which isn't really necessary right now as there's no leaderboards, but we'll get into that later. It's fun to make and create new builds. I think every 2 to 3 patches, there should be some more uniques and legendaries added every time. I think to keep up with the standards of today in AAA games, that's what you got to do. You got to make people entertained. You got to make people want to come back and play it every patch. And as for number 2, I think we need PvE leaderboards. Now, a glaring issue for me in this game is when you get to the end game, it gets quite boring. Whether that's timed dungeons or tier pushing, I think leaderboards will give us more end game content to look forward to. It will also create healthy competition and reasons to log on and play. It would be nice to look at the leaderboards and see who I'm competing against and what I can do better to make my builds better. Or to look at the leaderboards and even look at the builds of the people that are progressing and maybe, get some ideas from that or even try it out myself. I think that's a big problem with the game is at the end game you feel like you're playing for nothing. You're just literally grinding nightmare dungeons until you're tired. Third, I want to talk about something that's way out there, but I think it would help. I think it would be cool to see something of raid category. Imagine now that you had this uber raid to do. It was a massive stronghold with potentially multiple world bosses in it. And you had to have about 40 or 20 to 40 people on screen doing a massive raid. Wouldn't that be awesome? I would love to do something like that. I think expanding the idea on what the game already has going for it is a step in the right direction. I like to daydream, and I think to myself, wouldn't that be sick if I was just playing a game regularly and all of a sudden, I was able to team up with about 20 other players and there's 2 world bosses on the friggin' map. Or better yet, let's say, 3 butchers appear or, 100 goblins appear or something. Just give us stuff like that. There's already things working for the game. It'd just be cool to see more of it. But I would really stress, doing something like a raid type, like a mega stronghold. That'd be so sick. And number 4, as the last addition I'd have to this game, I want to see us utilize the PvP more. Call me crazy, but could you imagine specific PvP gear, aspects, legendaries, gems? That would be dope. I think it would give the player a different avenue to enjoy the game with. That would make players utilize the PvP regions way more than they're already being utilized. I come from playing games like WoW, Call of Duty, Mortal Kombat, and I really truly miss that player versus player experience. Again, I think it would add additional endgame content. I'd be looking forward to logging on to do some PvP battles, grind for PvP gear. It doesn't have to be so complicated, but it would definitely add to the endgame grind, which I think is a main factor of what's missing to this game. These are additions to the game that I think would make that endgame grind feel way more rewarding. I think we're at the part now where we need additional content at the end of the game. I don't know how many times I've had to reiterate that, but I feel like that's what's missing. I think this would definitely help that end game grind feel a lot better. And that's every time I speak a point, that's what I come back to is that's the only thing I really find was lackluster about the game, was the end game. The end game content grind is nothing. The season's over and we have to October until we see something relevant or something that's going to shock us or something new. And by that time and the speed we're getting content right now for Diablo 4, I don't think there's going to be many players left by season 2. If I'm going to be realistic with everybody, I think we'll probably get it together around season 5 or 6. The first quality of life change I want to see is the party up feature. Please put this back in the game. For anyone that doesn't know, in Diablo 3, when you start the game, you were able to party up. And you were able to select if you're going to do torment dungeoning or if you're just going to do world questing. You were able to choose what you wanted to do and it would put you in a random group. And what's beneficial about being in the group in Diablo 3 is that you get increased loot drops and rewards. So imagine you start the game like this, and down here, there's a bracket that says, what do you want to do? What do you want to party up for? Do you want to do Helltide farming? Do you want to do Nightmare dungeon pushing? Or maybe even do you want to do open world questing or renown farming for people that haven't done the renown yet? Don't get me wrong, I think we should get rid of renown entirely. A party up feature at that screen would be huge. I think that would be so dope. Just go into a random group before, play, have fun, probably have better loot drops. That'd be cool if they added that too, just like Diablo 3. Last but not least, guys, I want to talk about the armory again. Guys, I would love to have an armory just for when I'm like ciphering through different builds or want to try different builds. I know there might be costs, associated with switching up the armory, but that'd be cool to have like an armory tab where I can select, I want to go shred NATO, or I want to go, pulverize druid, or I want to go stormclaw druid. I'd be able to just like click with the tab, it'll swap out the items for my storage, cost associated, of course, and then I can worry about the Paragon. But also getting a Paragon refund button would be cool too. Well, that's it for me, guys. I really hope that Diablo 4, turns around. I've had so much fun playing it. However, yeah, that end game grind, I even find myself struggling to come back on and play or even make videos anymore. I feel like we've really hit the wall and the end of the game. So for this video, the question is, what if? What if they did actually consider what the consumer was saying and put it forth into the game? That's kind of what I'm hoping for, is that they actually do care about us. And, despite what everyone says about them, I know they're getting a lot of flack, but it'd be cool. It'd be cool if they actually listen to the consumer, So to answer the question in the video, yes, I believe there's hope. I always believe there's hope. I will always have hope. I will always stay positive. And really hoping to see if this game goes further. But I'm going to go back to the lab and cook up some more videos for you guys. I'm going to keep this entertaining. I'll probably be running some other games on this channel, so look forward to that. But I'm your boy Jadiro, signing up for now. Peace.